Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 24 of the anime series Akagami no Shirayuki-hime, or Snow White with the Red Hair, for all intents and purposes, the season 2 finale. And this all kind of wrapped up in a quaint little bow, I thought, almost bringing it back entirely to a sense of status quo, where not before, we had basically calling back on earlier events in the season. We had Sakaki, the right-hand man of Prince Raj, sort of his own Mitsuhide, as well as Mihaya showing up to make official the proclamation we saw Prince Raj had made while Shirayuki had been double kidnapped and they were going after her to try to, save and protect her, that she was a friend of the crown of Tenbarun, and they've made this official. Sakaki has brought along this beautiful jewelry and this document that is meant to make this proclamation official. And it's interesting how this plays out because, of course, we see that Izana is still fit for, getting his jabs in, and he's heard wholeheartedly from Zen how Zen feels about Shirayuki, but Shirayuki has yet to really fully embrace that idea to anyone other than Zen. She's made her proclamation to him, her love for him and everything like that, and this has been mutual between them. But of course, Izana is kind of putting her on the spot and getting his little jabs in, as I say, to his own delight. And so this once again sort of prompts that, what I call status quo, where, Shirayuki, she's still not ready to fully embrace the idea of locking herself down to Zen. It's something she very much wants, but she still feels uncertain, like with everything she's gone through and everything she still has yet to go through before her, have I earned my stripes? Kind of inner qualms is what's going on with her. Have I earned my place here yet? And there's still so much I want to do, and do I want to commit myself and like lock myself down? And it's kind of the usual internal struggle that we've seen Shirayuki going through, and it's strange to still see that's part of her character. But at the same time, we have to always remind ourselves these are still very young characters, They still do have lifetimes ahead of themselves. And I like that Zen is very much the respectable guy while he is macking on her a couple of times and lip-locking and knocking her socks off. Basically, she can't stand after one of these kisses because she's so like, whoa. Which is absolutely adorable and hilarious to me. But, basically, he is very much still of the mind, I'm not pushing you. Giving her room, giving her life and her choices, which is what anyone who is in a relationship should do with their other half. I mean, there's only so much of it you can go into. It has to be a mutual thing. And that's something, going back even to the first season, that I really highly respected in the form and function of their relationship as it was depicted in the series. Neither one of them is pushy, neither one of them is, while they are both mutually in love with each other, they still both realize we don't have to answer now. And he even makes the promise, he thinks he looks like an idiot, but she says, no, you're cool in doing this, but making the promise to one day make this an official thing, this confession of love between them, make it something more than just the words they share mutually between themselves on their own. And that's awesome. I mean, I like the idea. Some people would say maybe it's a step backwards to end on a status quo sort of framework like that. But I mean, arguably, they could easily give us a third season exploring more of the lives of Zen and Shirayuki, with it leaving off at this point, because you still see Izana, even though he has said he will help and support, Zen in his wanting to align himself to Shirayuki, he's still having his jabs. He's still having his fun poking at her and trying to get the straight dope out of her, how she feels about Zen and everything. And until that happens, I mean, he could very much still flip things on its ear and challenge her and see how far she is willing to go. I mean, he kind of had his way with that scenario with sending her to Tenbarun, and we saw how that sort of, with the kidnappings and everything went awry and still ended well. But I mean, you didn't get the full sense that maybe Shirayuki had the opportunities Izana might have wished for her in challenging her because of all this other devil-may-care stuff that was going on surrounding her at the time. And he might want to, hearken back to an idea of really putting, the sort of hurdles before her, and see her jump them, and see if she's able to, and see if she's willing to, and all these kinds of things to align herself to Zen. How far is she willing to go, in other words? And with the way this ended, I kind of feel like anything's possible. I don't know if we'll get a third season, frankly. I know there's plenty of material based on some of the conversations I've had with you guys in the manga that they could adapt a third season potentially, but I'm not going to hold my breath. For the moment, it is what it is, and this is how it ended, and I like that it ended sort of openly. Again, that status quo idea where anything can still happen. Shirayuki is still finding herself. She's still a young woman, and Zen is, keeping at arm's length, making sure she has the freedom to make those decisions, and they both love each other, and eventually they will find each other, and that is the end game, I would assume, eventually for them both. But for the moment, this is where it stands, and they still have their lives ahead of them. And really, it kind of leaves you, the viewer, if you're a fan of the series, unless you want to go and read the manga, you can imagine any fate for either of them. And I like that final call to, she wants to follow by the colors of fate and everything like that. She hopes her future is fated to be with Zen, and that is the sort of, whatever choices she makes, whatever path she chooses to follow, that will be where it eventually culminates. But she still has so much of that path ahead of her, and I love that she can explore that, and we leave off with that sense of hope of all of these characters really still having so much of their lives ahead of them to really explore and to expound upon who they are as people and individuals. And so yeah, I love this series. I love the characters, and we didn't get a full-on sense of closure like I might have hoped, but I mean, I like the idea that if they wanted to, they could give us a follow-up movie, they could give us a follow-up third season, but it's not mandatory either. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of the finale episode of Akagami no Shirayuki-hime, or Snow White with the Red Hair, Season 2. And if you enjoyed it, if love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. If you were dissatisfied with it, especially if you're a manga reader, and I know some of the stuff that they basically switched around and kind of cut off that might have happened in Season 2 or in a Season 3 yet to come. It could leave viewers dissatisfied with the anime, but that's what I love. I love having the conversation. Love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. So let me know what you thought overall of this particular season of the series on whole. And otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.